Welcome to our online yoga and wellness hour. We're thrilled to have you join us. Shortly, in a moment, I'll hand over to Charlotte. But before I do, if I can just take the opportunity to say thank you. Wellness is extremely important to us at the Living Care Company. For anybody that's not familiar with us, we are a living care provider. We work nationwide, providing living carers to support people in their own homes, including people living with brain injury and other neurological conditions. We wanted to offer this event to the volunteers with Headway UK to thank you for all of the hard work that you do. If you have got any contributions, then please do just unmute. Adjust your space around you if you haven't already. Grab any props that you might want. And of course, we'd love to see all of you and everyone's smiling faces. But if anybody does feel uncomfortable and if anybody wants to turn their camera off at any stage, then you are welcome to. We are recording the session today, so next week we will share a recording of the session with you as well, so that you can go over that again in your own time at home. And we may also share a couple of clips via social media channels. So let's give a very warm welcome to our instructor today, Charlotte.
Hi. Thank you very much, Caroline. That's great. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And lovely to meet you all. I'm really passionate about yoga, wellness, as I came from a very fast-paced background many years ago, and it's really supported me throughout. And subsequent to that, it's in times as well where it's quite challenging and we're giving out a lot to other people. I think it's really important to make this space, just even for an hour here today, can be hopefully quite profound. So I hope you find some value from it. And we'll start with some breath work. There'll be some movement, and then we'll end as well in quite sort of restorative place, stillness, with some more breath work. I guess it would be just really useful if anyone would like to share just how they're feeling today, maybe one word that they feel it would be helpful to share. And it just will allow me to tailor the class as well towards you. Anyone would like to share anything?
I think I've been really quite busy this morning, so I'm feeling a bit hectic. I'd like to calm.
Okay, thank you, Caroline.
I'd say the same. I think we've had an incredibly busy week. So we've had moments where we've been a bit overwhelmed this week, I think. So this will be really good for us.
Thank you. Thanks,
I was going to say I feel quite chaotic. I feel like my brain is all over the place, work and personal life and stuff. So it's probably quite a good idea just to focus on myself for this 1 hour and no other distractions.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. Feeling a little bit overwhelmed with a bit of workload this week. So anything to de-stress a little bit would be good.
Amazing. Thank you, Tara. Okay, that's great. And that's really useful. So I think the general consensus is we'll keep it really chilled. Sometimes yoga classes movement can be kind of quite fast paced and sweaty. And that wasn't my intention for today. But yeah, it's just been solidified with your responses. So we'll keep it really nice and gentle and relaxing. And well done for coming and making this time and giving yourself when it's so busy. And you probably, there was a point where you may have gone, do I have time to do this? Or I'm not sure, but you've done it. So welcome. So hopefully you have got some comfortable clothes on, some sort of mat or comfortable place that you can be on in terms of space. And in terms of props, you could use a thick book to sit on if you feel like you just want to elevate slightly with the hips. It's really nice to elevate our hips when in cross-legged as well, because the lower back can arch slightly out and that can be uncomfortable. So I'll just go through that in a little bit more. But yeah, you might want to run and get some things. Also, we'll end lying on the ground, and we can either, so I have a bolster, which is like this, but I'm not sure whether you guys would have that. You can use a pillow rolled up, or a towel, a thick towel or blanket that rolls up into that kind of shape. So if you just want to get the next few minutes, moments doing that, thank you. So I'm going to sit on my bolster, and we can either do cross-legged like this, but this isn't always comfortable for everyone. But if it is, just having the hips elevated and the pelvis is coming forward. So the top of your pelvis is tilting forward slightly. So there's a gentle arch in your lower back. It's not protruding out. I'll just show you this way. So sometimes when we can sit cross-legged, there's this kind of feet sensation with the back. So the lifting the hips up just helps to push the hips forward slightly, which is really good for our low back, but not too much that you then impinge. So get comfortable. If you feel that actually cross-legged is just really, really uncomfortable, it's totally fine. Then you can maybe kneel over some cushioning, something really thick to lift you up, and then just placing your hands there. So just adjusting yourself, getting yourself comfortable. And just taking a moment to arrive. So you're here, you're comfortable. Make those extra little bit of movement so you feel comfortable, if not yet. Hands can rest onto your thighs. And then just lift the shoulders up and then roll them back. Just feel that the crown of your head is lengthening up, shining up towards your ceiling. So there's length through your spine. And take a moment here to, there's no rush, scan your body from your head to your toes, but take your time and just noticing areas where it may feel a little bit more tense. Again, it's totally fine. We don't need to analyze why. And then areas where it may feel a little bit more open, spacious, relaxed. So take these next few breaths, slow breaths, scanning your body. Trying not to judge why a feeling is that way in your physical body. Just accepting and breathing. And then bringing your awareness to your mind. Just again, noticing without judgment. How your mind is today. Maybe having a little smile on your face as you do this. The breath still flowing. And now we can bring our awareness to a little bit more towards our breath. So just first of all, acknowledge how you are breathing. Notice the parts of your body that move with each inhale and exhale. And if it feels comfortable, you can take your right hand onto your belly and left hand onto your heart center. Bow the head slightly if that feels comfortable, to get a little bit of length at the back of your neck, just very softly. And here we may be altering our breath from how it actually is as I guide you. So we're inhaling and exhaling if it feels comfortable through our noses. Keep the breath slow and soft. And this is where sometimes it may not be possible to connect to this feeling straight away, but just with an awareness, as we inhale, we can feel our belly expand. So not so much the chest, just your belly at the moment. And as you exhale, the belly button moves softly towards your spine. So we'll take a few more breaths here, just connecting with this. And don't worry if it doesn't happen straight away, because we can breathe paradoxically, which is also okay. But this is a really relaxing breath. So as we inhale, we feel the belly expand like a balloon. And exhaling through the nose, belly towards spine. Just a couple more. Now you may like to keep your hands here because it may be quite comfortable and helpful. Otherwise you can release your hands down and we'll do a little bit more breath work here. So if you feel like you want to change the cross in your legs, you can. Just might feel a little bit more comfortable. You can lengthen the legs out and start to circle the ankles for a moment. If you're kneeling, maybe you're still comfortable there, or you may want to adjust slightly. So we'll change the cross in the legs so that it's kind of not the usual way, so it may feel a little bit strange. And as I say, you can keep your hands where they were, otherwise we'll all slowly start to exhale together. Pausing at the bottom of your exhale and then inhaling for a count of 4. Belly expands. Hold for a count of 4 if that feels comfortable. And then exhaling for about 6 or 7. Belly button towards the spine. And again, inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. One more in your own time. Good. Coming back to your normal breath and just noticing the quality of your breath. So we'll try and keep connecting to that breath, or this breath now, as we inhale softly through the nose, the belly expands, and then as we exhale, the belly button moves towards the spine. So we'll do that throughout our practice. Keep the breath flowing, and I'll keep reminding you as well. Sometimes we can just forget and the breath kind of holds for a bit. So we'll take one slow breath here, in through the nose and out. Inhaling, we can bring both arms up, reach up as though we're trying to grab something high up on a tree, and then palms together, exhale down the center line. And again, inhale, reach up, really open up the arms. Good. And exhale down. One more. And this time, exhale, palms to the heart center. Just take a moment here as we bow the head slightly, feel the warmth of our hands connecting with one another. Good. And then now left hand can come down, and the right hand, but left hand reaches down onto the floor or come into your fingertips. Inhaling up with the right, and then exhale across. So here we can feel some length from our right hip. Sorry, right arm is coming across. Right hip to the fingertips. Good. And then inhaling, reaching up again. Exhale across to the other side. We'll do this a couple more times with our own breath, either side. Just taking it slow, no rush. Breath is slow. Third time we come over, we can just pause here for a moment. So the right knee is kind of heavy and you're feeling length, and maybe not so much looking down, but shining the heart up. Good. And then reaching across, so you feel length. Good. And then inhaling, reaching up. Exhale across. A few breaths here. Good. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale down. Just take a moment here. Let the breath flow. Nice. And then we're just going to circle our head. We'll come over onto hands and knees in a moment. So we're coming out of this position of kneeling or seated, but just circle the head really slowly. So it's almost like that's the feeling of you feel more in different areas for longer, because there's no rush, and just moving with your breath. And then just pause for a moment, and then we'll change direction as we breathe in And breathe out. Coming back up to the center. Good. Slow breath here, in through the nose. And then maybe just exhaling a little bit longer as you breathe out. Nice. And so we'll come over onto our hands and knees, whichever way is most comfortable for you. You can just bring one knee over, come over, and remove from whatever underneath you, coming to hands and knees. So you may feel that you want to place a blanket or something underneath your knees, because sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So I'll give you a few moments to just get comfortable. And we'll spread our fingers wide. So they're almost like rays of sunshine. And they're really, really opening, especially when we're on computers a lot, tapping away. The sensation of opening our hands can feel really nice. So spreading them wide. And a bit more space, a bit wider than hip width distance with our knees. A bit wider. Big toes can be touching. And then we'll arch our back, top back of the heart, and chin towards the chest. And then sit back onto the heels. As we glide forwards on an inhale, not pressing the forearms completely onto the floor. There's a little bit of height, so we create strength. As we come forwards, and then exhale, coming to sit back. So I do want to say, with all of these movements, so you can keep doing this, if anything doesn't feel right in your body and it's uncomfortable, or it's there's any discomfort whatsoever, please stop, adjust, and just come into a position that feels good for you. There's no pressure to do anything. So any of the gentle movements we've done before, you can come back to that. You can lie down into a relaxing position. Okay, so we'll do these for a few more as we sit down on the exhale, gliding forward on the inhale. Really nice, slow movements. Good. Coming to sit back on the heels. Now that might not feel so comfortable, so you can just come and stay in tabletop. But if it does, sitting on the heels, and then we can come onto our fingertips for a moment and sinking down the heart on each exhale. Good. Rising up, adjusting the knees. So this time, our knees, and again, you may want to, at this point, put something underneath your knees. The knees are going to be touching one another. And we're going to, this isn't the most comfortable thing. So it's not meant to be comfortable anyway. So if you can bear with it for a little bit, we're tucking the toes under and sitting on our heels. But if this is unbearable, then you can just untuck your toes. But it's nice to open up our feet. So we're going to inhale, open up our arms whilst we're sitting on our heels. Open up arms, really open up, draw the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, palms come together, but we'll lift up off our heels just to give it a little bit of a release. Inhale, we'll sit back, open the arms, draw the shoulder blades together, open the chest, look up, and then exhale. We'll do a few more. Again, put something under the knees if you need to. Exhaling as we rise up. And this time, we'll bring our palms together, sit back on the heels, interlace the fingers and swirl the wrists around. As we will use our wrists a little bit through this practice. So just gentle lubrication around the wrists. Ignore the feet. If it's unbearable, like I say, just release them. But otherwise, if you can breathe through it, changing direction of the wrist, focus your mind. And release. Release those little tootsies and then give them a bang. Good. Bring the knees still together. Draw the hands back. And then we'll just lift up the knees if this is available to you. Otherwise, just stay here, open the chest. Otherwise, lift the knees so you feel a kind of counter pose in your feet. Good. And then bring the hands back here in front of you. Just take a moment here. So there's space between the knees, about hip width distance apart. If at any point the wrists feel too uncomfortable, you can come on to fists, because there is obviously quite a lot of pressure on our wrists through this yoga practice. So just be mindful, listen to your body. So we'll take our right foot to the outside of our right hand. If it doesn't come all the way, just give it a helping hand. Just slowly bring it forwards. Okay. Again, padding for the knee if you need. And we're going to make big outward circles. So the knee comes out and in, moving with our breath. Use your fists if you need to. So there's a feeling, a sensation that you're really mobilizing around the hips to enough that feels good for you. Everything that resonates for you in terms of, your boundaries. So you are your best teacher. So I'm just guiding. And then we can come to stillness for a moment. Spread the fingers wide. And then with an inhale, we'll bring our, I'm not sure if you can see that, we'll bring our hips forwards with an inhale. And then an exhale, bring the hips back. Now here, this might be just enough that you're feeling at the back of your leg. Don't need to come all the way back. Just listen to your body. So that might feel like, oh, that's enough. Okay. And then inhale forwards. Exhale back. One more. So we come and then we stay here. So wherever we are, the leg is lengthened. It doesn't need to be straight. It's to the point where you feel, oh, that feels enough. You can come onto your fingertips if you like as well, just to raise up the heart, the chest, breathing here. Just one more slow breath. Good. And then we'll walk our hands forwards. And then slowly, just feel if you can engage the core slightly. So you lift up inside, you bend down towards your spine, take the right leg back. Good. And then just take a moment here. So we bring our knees together and we're swaying side to side. So this is before we move on to the next side. So we're swaying our hips side to side and keeping both knees down. Both knees are in contact with the ground as we bring one hip over and then the other. Good. You're going to feel it down the sides of your thigh, in your glutes. Keep breathing. Let the breath flow. Come onto your fists if you need to. One more either side. Good. So coming back. We'll just take a little bit of a rest from the wrist before we come over to our other side, opening the hips, open and close the hands, do whatever you need to as we kneel and breathe. Slow, slow breaths. Inhale is nice and slow. Exhale is really slow and long. And again. We'll do one more breath and we'll really release in our jaw so teeth are not clenched. Space around the eyes is relaxed. As we breathe in and breathe out. Nice, okay. So we'll come over to the other side now. So it's our left foot coming over to the outside of our left hand. Spreading the fingers wide or have fists. And again, outward circles. Slow breath. Coming to stillness. Take your time, no rush. And when you're ready, inhaling, bringing the hips forwards, and then exhale back. 2 more. Third exhale, we'll stay here. You may want to come onto the fingertips, and you may even feel it might feel nice. So on your exhale, just hinging at the hips. So you fold forward a little bit more. Maybe that feels too much. Listen to your body. Good. And then slowly we'll take our left leg back. Space between the knees, big toes touching again, and then just some circles with your hips. One direction. And changing the other way. Good. Coming back, rising up. Adjust the knees. If it feels comfortable, coming to kneeling position. Take a moment here. Hands can rest onto the knees. And then slowly we can interlace fingers behind our backs. Now, I might feel that the shoulders are coming forward. So we lift the shoulders up and then roll them back. And here the arms might just be here, which is totally fine. Just feel a lengthening of pushing the knuckles down. But if it is available to you, you may want to lift the arms up slightly, but just be mindful of your joints around the shoulders and feel that your chest is open. And you can look up slightly as well. Just take a few more breaths here if this feels good for you. Otherwise, just release out. Slow in breath. Long out breath. And then releasing the arms. Again, take a moment. Just one breath as we place our hands onto the thighs. Slow, slow breath. Good. Coming forward once again. Bring space between the knees, about hip width distance apart. Tuck the toes under. Inhaling here, and then exhale. As just before we do, bring our knees up. Just draw your belly button towards your spine. So belly button towards the spine, and then lift the knees very, very slightly up off the ground. So we just breathe here. Keep drawing your belly button towards your spine and breathe. If it feels okay for you, for 3. Keep drawing. Imagine your hip bones are coming closer and closer, for 2. And 1. Bring the knees down. Take a moment here. Maybe come on to fists here if that feels more comfortable on your wrists. Slow breath. Just notice the energy throughout your body, the heat that's been generated in your abdomen. And maybe this flush of heat is coming out into all parts of your body, just feeling into it. Good. And then we'll bring our hands back down onto the ground, spread the fingers, tuck the toes under, lift the knees up, just like we did before, but this time we're lifting them up high. High, high, high. We're on tippy toes. And then we're going to bend one knee and lengthen the back of the leg, the other leg. And when I say lengthen, I doesn't mean straight. And then you just keep alternating. So you may have heard this as walking the dog. So we're just alternating the legs, bending one and then the other. Just notice what you feel at the backs of the legs. And then we can slowly, after a couple more alternations of lengthening and bending, we can come to stillness. So just as a bit of a guide here, feel that the head is heavy. Head, give it a shake, relaxed. You may be squeezing your upper arms in towards your ears. Just create a little bit of space here. So you feel that you rotate your upper arms out away from the ears. And maybe there's a bend in your knees. So you're just lengthening upper torso. And I know it can feel quite intense, this pose, but if you want to stay for a couple of more breaths, just stay there. Otherwise, we'll start to walk our hands towards our feet. So there's no rush to come out of the downward facing dog. You want a couple more breaths. Otherwise, for those of you that do want to come out, there's space, a bit more space between your feet. You heel toe them out slightly. And then we can bring the elbows just above the knees. We'll stay here whilst we all meet here. And sitting back slightly. So it almost feels like we can have like a ball in between our thighs that we're gently squeezing, not too much, just gently squeezing. And maybe the shoulders are coming forward, so just open your chest or your shoulder blades towards one another. I know this again can feel quite intense, but we'll breathe through it. So it's a challenging pose, but using our breath. Good. And then slowly we'll push our feet into the ground more. So by lifting our toes, really lift the toes, you might feel that your inner arch is active, more active now. And then spread your toes down to the floor. We'll keep the feet rooting down into the ground as we inhale, rising up, palms together as we reach up. That sensation of trying to reach something, so you're lengthening all sides of your body, and then palms together, exhale, sink down, just as the position we were before. Inhale, reach up, palms together, exhale, sink down. So we'll do about 5 more of these, but with your own rhythm, your own breath. Just I invite you to keep the breath the movement slow. With the inhale, you feel length. And the exhale, strength, rooting down. Three more. And then exhale, just elbows above the knees once again. Feel that the chest is open. And we'll just connect with a golden thread breath here. So it's an inhale through the nose and through pursed lips, blowing imaginary golden thread out your lips. So you're exhaling through your mouth. Two more. And again. Good. Push through your feet. Inhale, rise up. Arms come up. Interlace the fingers here and index finger pointing up. So this as we reach up. Good. Inhaling, lengthening both sides of our body. And then exhale, come over to the left and take a few breaths here. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale over to the other side. Breathe. Inhale, reaching up, and then exhale, reaching the arms down. You may want to heel toe the feet in slightly, just wherever is comfortable, and just take a moment here to absorb the different sensations. Good. Okay, I'm just checking the time. Okay. So we're going to come down now. We'll first of all fold forwards, walk our hands forwards, and then come down. Come over to one side as we just lengthen our legs out. And here, so you may feel like you've got quite tight legs at the back today. So you may want to put that bolster, blanket rolled up or towel underneath your knees, or just keep a little bend in the legs. Otherwise, lengthening the legs down onto the ground as we inhale, reach up, and then exhale, fold forward. Try not to strive to get to a place first of all. So it's just the hands relax wherever, and your feet actually might not want to be flexed because that's going to lengthen the back line even more. But if it feels good, you can flex the feet, and each inhale, feel a lengthening through your spine, crown of the head shooting up, and then the hinging at the hips again as you exhale. So it could be a really subtle movement. Just a couple more breaths here. Good, and the head can become heavy, but just notice how that feels in the rest of your body. Back line, it may feel too much. It might feel quite nice. Just listening. And let yourself be the guide. Okay, and then inhale, rising up. And then we'll take our hands either side of our hips. Here it may feel fine if you haven't flexed your feet before to really flex them. Feel that the chest is open. Press the hands down onto the ground. Breathing here. So they're lengthening through your spine, almost as though you're going to lift your sit bones off the ground. Push the heels away. Good. One more slow breath, really opening your chest. And release, release down. Good. So we'll just adjust ourselves on our mat and we're going to slowly come down. It may feel too much to come down onto your back straight away. So you may want to roll on one side and then come onto your back. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can lengthen the legs or bring the soles of the feet up off the floor and slowly come down. Make sure your lower back comes onto the floor first and bring your belly button towards your spine. And then we can draw the knees in towards our chest. Give yourself a squeeze, nice big hug. Take the arms out either side of your body. Draw your shoulder blades towards one another so the heart is open. Inhaling here as the legs are in a right angle, and then exhale, bring the knees over to one side. If it feels comfortable, you can turn your head over to the right. So knees are to the left, head to the right, and breathe. Couple of breaths, slow breaths here. You may be squeezing, holding on somewhere. Feel. Maybe you can release that with the last exhale. Good. Engage your core. So you draw your belly button towards your spine as you lift the knees back up to the center. And then exhale over to the other side. So we're doing exactly the same here. Left shoulder heavy, right knees heavy. Maybe you're turning your head to the left this time. As we inhale back to the center, coming back, soles of the feet on the floor. So either if you have a bolster to go underneath your knees now, then great, or a rolled up blanket or a towel. If you don't, then you can also have your feet mat width distance apart and let the knees knock in towards one another. Otherwise, you may just want your legs lengthened out completely. So it's up to you. Just get comfortable. But it's nice for the lower back to have the knees elevated slightly. So we'll come to lie on the ground. Scanning our body once again, really taking it as slowly as possible from the crown of the head. To the jaw is relaxed. So the teeth are slightly parted and the tip of the tongue can rest on the roof of your mouth if that feels comfortable. Breathing slowly through the nose. Relaxing your neck muscles, maybe if there's a bit of tension or holding on. With each exhale, release. Moving down the body. Feel the back sinking, melting into the earth. Legs are relaxed. So the inner thighs that can sometimes squeeze together slightly, creating a bit of tension around our glutes. There's no squeezing or holding on. It's relaxed. Feet are relaxed. Arms and hands, fingers relaxed. Each inhale, feel a cleansing breath. And each exhale, releasing and relaxing the body. Any holding on is dissolved with each of your exhales. Letting go. Then gently bringing awareness back into your body. Very slowly wiggling the fingers and the toes. And then lengthening the arms above the head, lengthening the legs, pointing the toes as though this is your first stretch of the day. And then drawing our knees in towards our chest, wrapping our arms around our knees to give ourselves one last squeeze. Rolling over to any side you like, and just pause here for a couple of breaths. Visualize yourself moving up before you actually do. And then when you feel ready, you can rise up slowly, no rush, take your time. Coming into a really comfortable position. And then inhaling, we can take our arms either side, really reach out wide, reach up high. Palms together, exhale to the heart center. So again, feeling the warmth of our hands connecting with one another at our heart center. As we bow our heads, humbling our minds, humbling our brains to our heart center. And here, having an affirmation, some may call it a heart prayer or sankalpa, something, a positive statement that really resonates for you, using very simple language, beginning with I, and mentally repeating 3 times. Really feeling into it as though it has already happened. we will seal our practice. Well, some may like to do the sound of Om, which is the universal sound of the universe, or others just with a humming sound, or maybe nothing at all. But first of all, clearing breath, inhale through the nose, through the mouth, exhale. Inhaling for Om or hum. And exhale. Om. Breathing in and breathing out. Namaste. Thank you. I think we've run a little bit out of time, so many apologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Charlotte, thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Have a
Okay.
wonderful afternoon. You take
You
care.
too.
Thank you for joining us,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.